Why did I pick this video? Why did I pick this video? Alright, what up you guys? It is Geeknjesta doing my first video ever. I'm actually going to do a reaction video to pro-choice versus pro-life. Can they see eye to eye from Jubilee? Jubilee, I like the middle ground episodes that they do. I like seeing people who can come to an agreement that have very different points of view. So far,
nobody has brought up the rights of the fetus person. Doesn't she have the right, the choice to live?
But with that being said, that's a cluster of cells that could not, a lot of the time, exist outside of a woman's womb.
The African music, get me. Yes, let's go.
Hi, my name is Jolene. I am a college student and I'm pro-life.
Hello everyone, my name is Timmerie and I'm pro-life and I talk about these issues on my radio show Trending with Timmerie.
Hi, I'm Jason. I'm a YouTuber called Pastor Jason Answers. So yes, I'm a Christian pastor.
My name is Liz. I work in tech and I am pro-choice.
Ooh, she cringed. Cringed when she said that she's pro-choice. Okay.
My name is Kimberly. I am a college student and I am pro-choice.
Hey guys, I'm Natalie. I'm a poet, teaching artist, and mental health advocate, and I am pro-choice.
I honestly would have liked to see them had at least one male who I guess has some sort of pro-choice opinion, only because now I feel like the male with the pro-life opinion is just kind of going to be brushed off as, you know, he's a male. Not so much that he shouldn't have an opinion, but, you know, maybe that it's just not quite as valid as the female's opinion. Which, you know, hey, I don't know if that's true. I don't know if it's not. I'm not going to say, but when you're the one guy there, it's easy to be pointed out.
I guess I'll go first. I have had two myself. The first one, I was not emotionally stable. I was not financially stable. I was about to get evicted from where I was.
I want to see that again. Did they cut that?
I guess I'll go first. I have had two myself. The first one, I was not emotionally stable. Yeah, I was not financially stable. I was about to get evicted from where I was living. And my family wouldn't, you know, the list goes on and on. I was on drugs. It wasn't something that I would be able to do, nor I wanted to do. And recently I had a miscarriage in which, because it was incomplete, I had to go in for a D&C, which is instant abortion procedure. And at this point in my life, I want to have kids. And so, you know, that experience as well was something that was equally as difficult for me as the first one that I had to go through voluntarily.
I'm so sorry I went through that experience.
Our church supports WPCC, which is an organization that helps women during pregnancy, after pregnancy, and post-abortion counseling. More than the people that I've met there, my mom almost had an abortion because of me. She doesn't tell me the whole story because she doesn't like to talk about it, but her life was in danger and everybody was saying, just abort the baby, which is totally legitimate if the woman's life is in danger, I believe. But I'm actually glad that she didn't abort me, but had the baby anyway.
I was 18 when I got my first abortion. And at that time, I was living with my grandmother. They were very conservative, raised as Catholic Christians. They would probably kick me out of the house if they were to find out I was pregnant. I was still, you know, fresh out of high school, did not have, you know, the monetary needs to raise a child and no place to live, so. Yeah.
I have had both friends and extended family members who have had abortions, and I'm sure the two of you can speak to this. It's a decision that you carry with you the rest of your life. And I have seen people 2 years later, and I have seen people 30 years later still struggling with the aftermath of abortion. And that's why I think us women deserve so much more than abortion.
I know several people who have been like on the line, like wanting to, but I don't know anyone who actually went through with the process. I have two little brothers, and when my mom was pregnant with the youngest one, he was not planned, and he was, I mean, I guess you could say at that time he was an unwanted child. Throughout her pregnancy, she just was thinking of how much of a burden this could be. If my mom did not believe that life begins at conception, then she probably would have gotten an abortion. But my baby brother, well, now he's a little older, he has impacted every single one of our lives in such a positive way that I just could not imagine him not being on this planet, and it really made me think.
I mean, honestly, I see everyone's point, and that's the problem with this topic, I feel like, is it's so personal to your experience. Some people will see abortion and see the aftermath and see all the negatives that it has done, or see what could have been an abortion and see what happened because it didn't happen. And some people feel like they're in a situation that is so unbearable or so unmanageable, I guess is a better way to put it, that they have no other choice but to have an abortion. And they honestly feel like it'd be better for them and the child to not have the life that it's might have in it, or whatever the reasons may be. So that's, man, see, it's just such a personal belief. I feel like that's almost the main problem with it, is that it can't be summed up in just one or even 100 cases. It's not that easy to nail down why each person might choose to have that procedure done. I don't know. It's just, yeah.
That when life is born,
Still,
life is
it's nice to see
life
all
is
these
so much
different
more beautiful than
viewpoints.
there
So
not
it is
being any
nice to
life
kind
at
of see
all.
that.
I think that's sometimes true. There's so many other factors. People who don't have all of those things,
right,
who don't have a family, who don't maybe have a partner, who don't have stable housing. Is that going to be the right circumstance for that child? Is that going to be more damaging? Thinking about the quality of the life that you can provide, because you are the caretaker of that being, and if you are not in a position to do that, that is the same as child abuse.
Just what I was saying.
And as sad as that is, because that's something we can't ignore, I still believe that is a life, and it is just as valuable as someone who maybe growing up in a rich family and have everything and have all these resources. I believe both those lives are equally valuable.
See, I was just going to say, under what you're saying, it sounds like quality of life is what determines whether or not someone should live. And in that case, it's the poor people who are preyed upon to have abortions, and it's the poor people who then spend years struggling with post-abortion syndrome as well.
Ooh, okay. I'd have to look up these statistics exactly to see, because I'm not sure about that one. I'm really not. And also I feel like the rich are probably far more inclined to maybe cover it up or not talk about it compared to the poor. I don't know. See, because quality of life, it does play a huge role in someone's life. It does. The quality of someone's life in prison is definitely, not saying that it's less, but I'm saying that, yes, they would prefer to not be in prison. Quality of life does play a factor into things. It definitely does. Whenever you're making a decision like that, I think that's one of the biggest factors it will play. Not saying that should be your ultimate decision, because, yes, people can have a terrible quality of life and still have a good life and still make a great life out of it. It's been done a million times. But at that same time, those people are usually, let's be honest, they're usually the variable. They're not the norm. The norm tends to be people who, if you're, born into a life that is, the quality of life is lower, you tend to stay in a lower quality of life compared to someone who is born in a higher quality of life. Not saying that and that's the thing, god damn it. That's the problem. This topic is just, it's too much. It's too many different variables. Why'd I pick this video for my first one? God damn it.
And so what,
I'm just going to watch it for a second.
Cutting off access to abortion, what solution is that going to provide to those low-income individuals, people who may not be able to have access to health care?
There are crisis pregnancy centers across the nation waiting with the financial means to help women who are facing crisis pregnancy. The reality is when people choose to have their children and they ask for help, let's say family cuts them off, there are other people willing to give help if we ask.
Have you had to receive these kind of benefits before?
No, but I've worked with hundreds upon hundreds of women who have.
So based on my own experience, I'm someone who previously, granted, I don't have children, but I had previously had to be on food stamps. I previously have received unemployment benefits. Pretty much anything that you can name. There was a point in my life where I had to be able to get that kind of assistance. And it's not as much money as you think. And a lot of these individuals are still struggling to be able to provide for not only their baby but themselves. And I think it's really unfair to put a woman and this now baby in that situation against their own will.
Men should not be a part of the conversation.
I think it's the first 2 years of a child's life are like some of the most important years. I mean, mother, father, whoever. We need to start making it so, yeah, we are spending more time with our kids in their early years and whatever. Let's not get into it. God damn it.
It's not a part of a man's body.
For the family.
It's not
the family is
that
important.
They are personally bringing into the world. And I don't think that they should be the end-all be-all to make that choice.
For the child, it might be the most important.
Well, I'm the only guy here, and sometimes, even before I speak a word, I feel judged that you have no say because it's not your body.
Oh! I like this dude actually a little bit. He's
but I
okay.
have 2 beautiful
All right.
kids. What if my wife didn't want kids? What if she had an abortion without my say, without my advice? Doesn't this affect my life too, a lot?
I actually think everyone has to be a part of every conversation. Now, I don't think men should be the dominant voice in the conversation at all. But I do think that everybody has to work together to create solutions to really large issues. And so, yeah, I think men absolutely have to be a part of it.
I would almost say I could even agree that women can be the dominant part of the conversation when it comes to abortion, simply because it is mostly impactful on their body. But like he stated, it plays a huge role in everyone's life. It plays a huge role in their relationship as a whole. A choice like that and having a kid in general. So, like she said, it does need to be a conversation whenever it comes to you being in the relationship with the other person.
The reality is it takes two to tango, right? I think we can all agree on that. And the chromosomes come from both the mother and the father. That baby is a part of the father as well.
I mean, I guess I didn't necessarily want to say that men absolutely shouldn't be a part of the conversation. Where I see it is a lot of the individuals who are trying to make these laws right now are men. While I think that there still needs to be a conversation between a couple, I don't think that it's fair for anybody other than the woman having to go through this to make that final decision of what she wants to do with her body.
As a guy, I feel like my statements are more opinions or suggestions, that it doesn't really matter. Thank you for your input, but we really need to make the decision based on what the woman feels. And I feel like I'm more of a second-rate citizen compared to the woman who has to make the real decision.
Yeah, I mean, I find that that's like the one place men feel that way versus women. There's very many instances in our lives where we don't get the first say and we don't get the last say either. We're asking people permission to do things with ourselves. And I think for me, that's what's really problematic. When it wasn't legal, people still got abortions and they just died in alleys. And so is that what we're okay with as a society because people don't have access and don't have choices? I'm not okay with that.
I feel as if my rights are in danger.
See, you go, girl.
Some of these laws are allowing for non-medical physicians to perform abortions and operate without a medical license. So
what?
My right to good quality health care is being diminished, but also my right as one day wanting to be a parent.
Hold up. What did you just say again? That's that right there. Okay, I gotta find this shit out. That's crazy. Hold up. Hold up. Wait a minute. Hold up. No way. This is true. Damn. With the proper training. So, okay. So she made it sound like, holy shit, we are just pushing babies out from some dude out in the alley. But no, they're getting the proper training. And apparently it's one of the easiest procedures. Okay, so this is why you gotta check your facts on stuff before you're just listening to people.
To be a parent, parental notification, those laws are being swept away. And so parents who love their children more than the facility workers, or at least should, right? They should be able to talk to their child before they make such a serious decision. And the parents' rights are going away.
But at the end of the day, that's not their choice to make. That's not their body. And so I get where you're coming from like an emotional standpoint, but I believe that an abortion is a medical procedure, and I don't think that anybody else should really be involved other than the person that's having it.
Other than the person that's having it. Man, she was.
There are states that are saying, we will make the choice for you. And that's problematic to me on an equitable level. Attaching jail time and all these things for women, I don't see the same thing happening for men.
It's not the women who would be going to jail, it's people who are providing abortions that would be facing criminal charges. So I understand the fear, and I think could we agree there's a lot of media hype that's creating a lack of communication and a lack of clarity in a lot of areas. And I, as a pro-lifer, do not believe that any woman seeking abortion should face criminal charges.
So heated in conversation too.
This is me chill.
Oh my God, I feel like it is.
As an
Jesus.
American, I highly value my rights and freedom to do what I want with my body and things like that. These days I've been reconsidering my views on gun control because, you know, there's mass shootings and innocent people are dying. We have to do something about that. And if I have to step back and give up some rights to own certain guns, I'll consider it because innocent people are dying. And I see it as the same thing with abortion. And in all our conversations so far, nobody has brought up the rights of the fetus person. Doesn't she have the right, the choice to live?
But with that being said, that's a cluster of cells that could not, a lot of the time, exist outside of a woman's womb.
Again. In that face. Oh my God. This girl's faces. Jesus Christ. But yeah, it's just so opinionated. Some people feel like the fetus is nothing more than just cells in the body. Some people feel like it is much, much more than that. So, it's just, it's so much. It's such a personal subject, such a personal topic. It's just, man, I don't know. It's hard to say.
I guess I'm just going to have to agree to disagree with you on that.
Yeah.
In an ideal
I feel
world,
like that's this whole
totally.
entire...
If there were resources and access and support like we wish there were, I'd be like, totally, nobody should have abortions because we have a society that supports people. But we actually don't live in a society where that's true for everyone, and so that's the issue for me.
Let's try.
Like, oh, dude, I just got to keep watching this.
Right?
I can't...
If you don't draw the line at conception, then where's the line? And when I hear people say, oh, like, you don't have the right to choose what to do with my body because it's my body, I feel like I do, because if you were to have a pet animal and it was in your backyard and you beat that thing to death, I feel like we all have moral judgment and I would stand up for that. But it's not my animal and it's not my backyard, it's not my house. I still believe in my moral compass that I should have the right to speak up about it because I genuinely believe that that is wrong.
I'm going to let her finish her point.
Abortion is killing human life, and so that is why I feel that I have the right to say something about it.
The problem with that topic is the same one with, I guess, just my entire point still. It's like, in her opinion, she is viewing the abortion of a child the same way she would view the murder of someone's pet. Even though that person has ownership of that, living being, at the end of the day, it's still a living being. That's how she's viewing it. Whereas they're viewing it as those aren't as much as a living being as much as it is a collection of cells inside of their personal body that they have a choice to either let it become something or, you know what I mean, choose to not. See, it's how you view it. It's how you view. It's just not that simple. It really isn't as simple as just one blanketed viewpoint or statement about it, I feel like, because it's so personal to how you view the fetus, how you view the children, how you view the act of abortion, oh my God, why did I pick this video? Why did I pick this video?
The responsibility of pregnancy prevention is currently equal between men and women.
Other than in cases of rape or incest, I believe that pregnancy prevention is equal because we enter into sexual intimacy both willingly.
Yeah, I agree with that. It takes two people to make those choices, whether it's abstinence, whether it's using contraceptives.
Consent is what I think where prevention starts.
I want to see it. Yes.
Okay, I'll admit
Everyone
it.
was just waiting to see what he had
It
to
is
say.
easier for
I
us.
love it.
mean,
Come
even
on,
if
man.
there is a birth control pill, culturally today, we're not taking that. We're not gonna snip, and it's easier. Sorry.
No, I agree. They always push it towards women if you don't want to get pregnant. Yes, there are condoms out there for men to prevent pregnancy. However, nobody wears it. Yeah, that's true.
In my
I won't say nobody. Some people
Right.
in my
But I
experience,
understand that, yes.
men don't want to.
Right.
And they've also tried to come up with, various different birth control methods for men.
No way.
No, and that's
don't
the
want it.
overwhelming response. There's so many side effects. There's the possibility of this and that. And, I've had a friend that had a stroke because of her birth control. And I think that it's really unfair that responsibility is solely being placed on women.
Well, and also if it's going to be solely on me to prevent, then it is solely on me to make a choice thereafter.
Yeah, I agree with what you guys are saying, but these
Damn. That was actually
conversations
kind
need
of a
to be
good point.
said before any action is done for both people to understand that they are both responsible for this.
I agree
That's
with
true.
you. One of the things that I
That's
always
true.
think about in the conversation of abortion is education, right? And the education around our bodies.
Okay.
Or just consent, right? Or just rape. All of these things are not conversations that are widely happening. I think about my own experience of sex ed in high school was taught by the gym teacher who was also teaching us driver's training.
Little
Right?
funding there.
And so I think about what was the quality of the educational experience I got. And typically in my partnerships, I am the first person that my partner has encountered that is willing and able to have a conversation about sex, about birth control, about all of these things. So it's interesting that we're like, we should be having these conversations, but people don't have the emotional intelligence to be having these conversations or the emotional
Oh God, this girl is honestly killing it with the points. She makes such a good point. I can personally say I don't even hardly remember my sex education in my school at all. God, it was pretty bad. But yeah, we have our school systems are not teaching not just our school systems. We got to think about more than that. We got to think about our media. We got to think about just our peers. Everything around us is not teaching us proper sex, just education on, just to educate yourself on the importance of it, on what it does to you, what it, the emotions that it makes you feel personally as, man, woman, or no matter what you are, or in between, or outside of, it doesn't matter that it is a topic that needs to be indulged. It needs to be more discussed. It needs to be more understood on a personal level for each one of us. Understand what we personally, how we feel about sex and how we feel about the act and how we feel about the child that might come from that act. Which is just not, we're not as much as we should be, especially when it's coming to, kids. They are getting very heavily influenced when it comes to sexual thoughts, but they aren't getting taught the correct way to, where those emotions are going and what those emotions mean and how those emotions can affect, the choices that they make with their partners or with people in general in life, especially at a young age. And I think we need to start having that talk a little more.
Maturity, which is unfortunate, but it's the reality, right? And so it does leave the onus on the person who is going to be most impacted, which in this case would be women.
Someone from the other side sincerely tried to empathize with me.
Yeah. You, Timmery, have empathized with me the most. Thank you for just understanding me and then just, throwing your insight out there.
Yeah, Natalie, I really appreciated how you were able to understand each different situation and circumstance and be able to agree to disagree with everything that's being said.
I think that this is how real conversations usually occur, and it shows people that we don't have to avoid a topic. And so thanks for listening and thanks for sharing. And I have to tell the two of you,
I'm even a little, obviously I'm uncomfortable. I'm a man trying to review a pro-choice and pro-life type of discussion, which is
having
just...
had an abortion, and I do not believe that anyone should face jail time for having had an abortion. I understand your circumstances, and I want you to know that.
But yes, I agree wholeheartedly. These are the conversations that we need to have. These are obviously I shouldn't be having the conversations. These are the topics that need to be talked about with people of different opinions. This is good. This is really good. I really like this. These are I like the people that they brought in for this too. I still wish they would have had a dude on the pro-choice side, just to kind of, give a little bit more of an opinionated stance on that side as well. But all the girls, like she was saying, were very open-minded and tried to see it from, every aspect.
The dude.
I feel bad. I feel like I picked on you too.
I guess that was the odd man out.
I love this dude.
I believe in women's rights, equal pay for equal work. There should be more representation in government. But my big thing is that the fetus is not just a blob of tissue. It's a real person, a him or a her. And maybe I didn't get that across for you to grasp that on my perspective.
I hope that it didn't come across that we are not empathetic, because I know for sure I was really trying to listen to you and trying to find a commonality. I was actually like, oh, interesting. Okay, you think this and what and why? I think those things are super valuable, to not have the same perspective, but still be able to find spaces to align, because that's where the real work is, not us all agreeing.
Yep.
But still, there are some basic things we want for humans and women, and so if that's true, then we all have to do some sort of work and some sort of bending in places to make that be true.
If you are just agreeing with everyone that you talk to or on social media, you, my friend, are in an echo chamber. Please get out there and talk to some people who you can have a civil conversation with, who you don't see eye to eye with on topics. Because it really does open your mind to just different viewpoints, and more importantly, to how the other side thinks, because it's very easy to demonize one side if you only have this very limited set of their viewpoint on the subject, instead of seeing, maybe they do feel a little differently than you do, and actually exploring that and actually accepting that and actually embracing it and inviting it in. Give yourself a challenge. Give yourself a different way to see things. Like she said, you need to be able to bend. You want to. It's good for you. It helps. But yeah, I really like this. This was a really good video. Yeah, I'm going to have to say, good one on Jubilee. All right, but that's it for me, you guys. Let me know what you think. I'm not going to tell you to like or subscribe or none of that crap because this is my first video, so do what you do. Thanks for watching. See ya.